Atlantic Jewel.
Tries to go with it. Emerald Downs against the fence, the leader. Out wide, sweeping around the outside is Atlantic Jewel, and she claimed them in a couple of strides and bounded away. Shiny Rose went on down the outside, and then City of Song boxing on Emerald Downs. But look at this. Atlantic Jewel, hard hell, beat Shiny Rose by a length. Florence 2 lengths away, got up the third ahead of Emerald Downs, and then came to
It was her at Moonee Valley. This is now, and she just intimidates them. Well, she didn't on the track, but she walks around this mounting yard, intimidating them here. Let's go through the yard.
One valley around for that valley was huge because I think she beat some good fillies and she was being choked down coming to the line. No, she's the one to beat.
And now this is crucial for Craig Williams for the white cap going out. And it looks like she's jumped away in about the middle of the line, the odds-on favourite. And Shiny Rose straight out the back early, and Florence kneeling a first out in company with Urali. Crucial going through and splitting them, trying to find the lead. And Heaven's 800 left to go. Heaven's Choice wanted to go faster. Led narrowly off the rails. Florence on the fence, a length and a half. Crucial, a nice trail. Kneeling likewise over on the fence. 1.5 Urali, 3 pairs back on the inside of Star Salute with Offer on their outside. A length and a half Atlantic Jewel. Our Miss Jones in the bright pink nowhere to go, and Shiny Rose City of Jewel at the end. The side they race now, Florence and Heaven's Choice, the leaders from Crucial, Offer, over on the rails, kneeling, trying to find a way clear from Star Salute. And now Oliver's pulled right to the outside on Atlantic Jewel, and she's starting to lift them and run home strongly. Here she comes with her big run. Florence in front of the 200, headed immediately by Atlantic Jewel. A dazzling turn of foot, and down the outside now, our Miss Jones has got into the clear, but it's Atlantic Jewel with a 2-length lead, and she'll win again. Gee, she's got Atlantic Jewel, 2.5 our Miss Jones. Shiny Rose from last got up to get third, ahead of Crucial, Florence and Urali, all the Darley colours together. Next to finish then was Kneeling, then Offer, Star Salute, and well back in the field then is Heaven's Choice, and last to finish is City of Song.
It's pretty special. Have a look at this. He is pricked all the way down the straight here, makes a good field look pretty average. I mean, Miss Jones and Shiny Rose, they all run well again, but she's indifferent. Look at this. That's embarrassing. You don't do that, Sammy, with your ears. I don't know. You try and put that into words for us. What do you think?
Pretty good.
But a bit embarrassing, wasn't it?
Now look, I was a bit worried. Look, she shied away from that the big screen like Celebrity Girl did last week. Actually, that was probably the only worry that you had throughout the run.
But she had plenty of time to do that, right?
Yeah, she was just practicing.
For what?
She's pretty good. She's a very good filly.
I mean, we've got Celebrity Girl, and we saw that squad.
Get his opinion of it.
You'd be happy to ride her in the 1,000 guineas?
I know. I think she's Michael's ride, mate, but he's a good mate, and I'm happy to fill in for him.
You'll give us your view on her.
She's a star, mate. She had time to look at the sponsors board halfway down the straight there and still win.
Is she going to be a sprinter mile or what?
I think whatever Kev wants to do with her. She's relaxed. She's got a good temperament. She'll switch off, and she could run any trip you want her to.
Fantastic. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Well, cost $320,000 as a yearling. Priceless right now. She is for the same colours and Fastnet Rock, trying to do what Irish Lights did a couple of seasons back and win the guineas, the 1,000 guineas. I think she will. Odds on yesterday, she's even money. It's just the sheer arrogance of the win, Gator. I mean, you had the ears pricked from about 300.
Well, I'm up to 3M doing videos. You've picked it up straight after the race. She's never had a second gear. The ears are pricked. She's very comfortable in herself. Does a lot wrong runs, 10.7, 400 to the 200, and 11.26 home under pretty light riding. So clear pick of the girls. Obviously, whether or not she could measure up against the boys, well, we won't have to probably find out this time in.
Unless they go to the Cox Plate.
Well, yeah, it'd certainly be on the in the thought process. Although, bear in mind, she's still in her first campaign, isn't she?
So you think? Outstanding, isn't she?
Well, a fortnight ago, we all sat here on the Sunday morning raving about the win at Moonee Valley, which was just dominant. She got a magnificent turn of foot, and then she just cruises past them. I'd be surprised if the team went to the Cox Plate. She's still only a baby, and wow, the world's at her feet. I think she's the most exciting horse in Australia at the moment, and that's including Black Caviar.
Two most impressive wins have been the fact that they've walked in front in both races. She's just picked them up in 2 or 3 strides. Like, there's been no pace on in front. She hasn't been entitled to do what she's done, and to do it and win it so easily, obviously outstanding.
The TAB Sportsbet multi going for 300,000, 320,000 to Atlantic Jewel now. He's alive. Just got to get to the day and get her home.
Getting back on board.
Yeah, tomorrow she looks like the 1,000 guineas winner. I think she's an outstanding filly. What she did yesterday, she got to the front too early for her. She started to stargaze at I think it was the screen on the inside of the course. She went to shy away from that. You see her there? She's just shying away from the screen on the inside. She spied it. But it's only because she's doing it so easily. She's got time to think and look around, and she's got those fillies well and truly beaten. None of them could possibly beat her in a 1,000 guineas, and most of them won't go round, and in fact, hardly any. But I can't see anything beating her, to be quite honest.
Oh, look, she put the writing on the wall with those dazzling figures last time. She's an absolute star. An absolute star. It's all in one preparation. That's the only thing. You know, you can push the button once too often. I hear they're thinking of putting a late nomination in for the Cox Plate for her. Let's just
Please no.
tick off one box at a time. But look, she is untapped. She is untapped. What do you think of the 3-year-olds now?
This is well out of Victoria. The 3-year-old is in the yard here for the Age Caulfield Guineas Prelude, minus Chase the Rainbows. Certainly, that's we're keen to have a chat to Rick or Lacey shortly about what he does now, because I'm sure he's thoroughly disappointed that he's got here today on a good 2 and has been forced to scratch from a vital lead up for this horse for the big $1 million prize, the Age Caulfield Guineas. Helmet favourite, 250 the tote and in the ring. But there's some good betting action going.
Taken care of yesterday. He's just come back into 250.
The leading race, right? Alpha Wonderful World and Achiever last year. The call the action, the Caulfield Guineas, Age Caulfield Guineas Prelude.
Coming up into the line, racing in the Prelude, and a pretty good start with the first to bounce out, Golden Archer, going for the lead early, and Helmet got away quickly and is immediately up in second, with Running Tool down on the inside third, and they're running very solidly early. Secret Hills 2 lengths away in fourth spot, and they're being followed by Spectre Grand Britannia, and that's the one in a bunch. 3 lengths further back is Absalon over on the inside of Cross of Gold, and 4 lengths away is Isa Pack. 900 left to go, and Golden Archer running strongly into the bridle, led by 2 lengths. Helmet taking a slipstream trail down the side at the 800. Running Tool 2.5 lengths away, and then Secret Hills. 2 Spectre, that's the one, and Grand Britannia. Another 2 lengths to Cross of Gold, followed then by Absalon and Isa Pack tagging onto the field at the 600 metres, and Golden Archer only a neck to Helmet, who looked to idle on the outside. 2 lengths away then is Secret Hills behind the favourite. Running Tall the rail. Spectre in the light grey colours. Grand Britannia, that's the one, was next as they're on the swing, and then Cross of Gold, Absalon, Isa Pack. Golden Archer the leader. Helmet level with him into the straight, and then Running Tall. Secret Hills is trying to make ground as they go to the 200 metres, and Helmet bursts by 2 lengths. Secret Hills is staying onto his coattails pretty well. Spectre's making ground, but Helmet hasn't put a foot wrong today. Gee, he's a good winner here. Helmet came away and won it by 3 lengths on the line to Secret Hills. Similar margin, Spectre third, and Running Tool stayed on for 4. They're being followed then by Cross of Gold. That's the one, and Isa Pack, who picked up the tail enders. Absalon towards the end. Golden Archer went too fiercely. He's carved up in Grand Britannia last home.
And it's probably run the second fastest 1,400 metres ever at Caulfield. 1:21.4. That's Golden Archer. Thanks very much, helping out there. Does everything right, sets himself up now for the Guineas. Manawinui to come down, Smart Missile to see later, but he gaps him. Secret Hills good with the blinkers. Spectre progressing nicely towards perhaps Guineas and longer, but this track is firmed right up. 1:21.4 sizzling.
Sometimes things go perfect.
That's his ability, Bruce. You know, today's probably the first I can say he did everything right. He bounced perfect. He travelled good off a hot speed. He relaxed good. And then quick and into his stride. He's got a magnificent stride, and he's even just any other horse who work and gallop. That's the sort of athleticism he has, and that's, to me, I think it's only a touch of what the horse's ability truly is.
Yeah, there's still plenty in the tank, I presume.
Oh, look, he's just about there. I felt he was quite forward today, and I didn't miss him after the last start. I thought if he's going to be that smart, well, I'll try and be smarter. And he's copped a fair bit of work the last week in jumps. We've done a lot with him, and I think he's brought the horse right on now, and hopefully he just goes on with it in a fortnight's time.
Well, the jumping season's over, so you better keep him to the...
Personal race, that race, and at a very tricky track. So he's got to really prove it next start. If he can win next start, we'll think about it. But at the moment...
He's got within 0.2 of Exceeding Excel's track record. It's set up for you, though, but he's still got to go and do it.
Yeah, I suppose I still got to do it. Like, you know, if Luke didn't set that speed, I was keen enough to roll along. And it was funny, the first part of the race, he jumped okay. Thanks to the boys behind the barriers as well. They did a good job. Then he sort of laid out a little bit, and then I was pushing him along to get going early. And then it was almost a few strides later, he's like, okay, I'll do it for you now. And he travelled up, and and always travelled like a winner from about 1,000 onwards.
Is it the best? Yeah, blinkers off, best behaviour. We'll hear from Peter Snowden shortly at the first 847.76. But pretty good. What you see is what you get there.
Outstanding, Bruce. Ran 3 lengths faster than Turek Toff in a Group 1, a bit later the older horse, and did it off a slightly slower first 800 split. So that doesn't happen often with 3-year-olds. An outstanding win. Spectre covered a bit of ground and actually ran very well, which ties in well with Chase the Rainbow. Rick, as we head to you, Chase the Rainbow was every bit as good as Spectre.
Called Guineas. This is how Sporting Better got the market at this stage. Helmet.
Blinkers definitely backfired last time. They didn't work on him. That was proven yesterday. I don't think you've had this horse fully wound up, which you've just said. And I don't think he's as good a chaser as he is as a dominator. After looking at yesterday, running off that hot speed and racing away, that's just a sizzling performance.
Yeah, we've got him pretty well worked out now, Ron, and hopefully we can keep something up our sleeve till Guineas Day. But look, his biggest asset is his athleticism. He's got a gigantic stride, and he's even as another horse to work and gallop. You know, that's the sort of horse that's the sort of talent he has, and we all know how hard that is.
Because he is entered one racing today, the Rupert Clarke Stakes, a big team, a big field of 17 to contest here in the 3-year-old Smart Missile. So he continued to thread the trend of the 3-year-old performances of today. He's the favourite. He's well tried on course. He's 350 on the tape, 360 the tape, shorter interstate, 260 and 2. Travel back to ride Smart Missile. We all know what happened in the Golden Rose. His work here in Melbourne's been fantastic. Model helmet.
3.20. It's now $3. Clearly the best back run, Bruce, and the Sporting.
Dan's Island, who won best presented in the yard on course. With the airman, of course, he went a different way. Needs to be replanted, hence the delay.
Racing at Group 1 level. Jungle Ruler missed the start on the inside. Smart Missile missed the start on the outside, and he's last early. And Turek off first to begin. Master of Design immediately races up and heads him. Dan's Island moved up to third. Silver Grecian settling down next on the inside from Pinnacle's Gold Salute. A length further back, Jungle Ruler, followed Dream Away. Dow is midfield and wide. Then there's a length and a half further back in the field. Toscana improving outside. Majestic Music, Yosei. There followed Luniat Forever. 2 lengths further back as Pinwheel, Blackie and Wirram. And 2 lengths last as Smart Missile. The say head towards the 700 metres. Master of Design, the leader, a length in front of Dan's Island. Turek Toff box seating third. His stablemate Pinnacles 3/4 fourth. 2 lengths behind them, Silver Grecian, being followed by Gold Salute, and then Dow Jungle Ruler, Dream Away, Toscana, Majestic Music, worse than midfield from Yosei, Luniat Forever, Pinwheel, well back as Blackie. Smart Missile has only one behind him, and that is Wirram. Into the straight now, Turek Toff got away from the Royal to go out and chase Master of Design, Silver Grecian, Dan's Island, next was Pinnacles, can't see the favourites at all. Turek Toff, Master of Design with 100 metres to go from Pinnacles. Turek Toff drove to the lead, raced a length clear, and the Toff is back. Turek Toff a length and a half to Pinnacles. Big day for Rick Peneloret. Then Master's Design held on for third. Majestic Music not far off, and down the outside, Luniat Forever finished powerfully. Smart Missile ended up rocketing through along the inside. Followed Dream Away, Silver Grecian, and further back Dan's Island, Yosei, Pinwheel. Further back was Dow Toscana, Gold Salute and Blackie. Wirram didn't come on, and Jungle Ruler one of the last in.
Good on you, Rick. What a great result for Stalwart here, trainer of at Caulfield, Rick Hall Lacey. Turek Toff back from all sorts of problems to win a Group 1 here. Special day for him to Cornell with his old war horse at Pinnacles. Great ride by Williams. You can see them.
One of the reasons that Pinwheel didn't fight today, the normal consistent one, is he goes right down to his nose. And gee, Keren's lucky to stay in the saddle here. You miss these when they're side onto you, don't you, Sammy? But well, he's just that's a total excuse run for him.
Yes, I am. Well, he's always been a good horse, and with all the problems that he's had, it's just wonderful to see him come back and beat a good field like that the way he did.
We always said he's a Group 1 horse, and to get another Group 1 for him after all you've been through.
Yeah, that's right. Well, a throat operation, and I just had a lot of problems with him. But this time, everything's gone smoothly, and I think Craig, it suits his style of riding too. He doesn't give away these huge starts.
You virtually had him pensioned off for starters at the end of his 3-year-old year.
Well, they didn't want to give us enough money. Now it's going to cost them more.
Of course, you still own a fair bit of him too, Rick, which is even better.
Yes, not as much as I did. I had to sell 10% a while ago because I had on the bones of you know what.
Not again.
Again.
Yeah, and a big day today because you scratched your 3-year-old.
Riding a train, I'd imagine, and he got on the back of the horse that led up. So took a while before he just came back off the bridle in the end, but he was really good and solid late.
The 1600 metre mark, he then galloped through the stabling area, and it was a miracle he didn't.
All important question going forward. How'd they both pull up?
They both pulled up well, David. Turek Toff is just slightly jarred up. He'll be all right in a few days. Give him some bute, and Old Pinnacles has pulled up fine.
Yeah, just on the track, Jason Kerr conceded at the end of the day. He got it wrong with the watering. He put 3 mils on the Friday. Actually, in hindsight, should have put on 5. There'll be hell to play in some quarters, but I think, put your hands up. He has. Jason should have got it wrong. He got it wrong. We've all got things wrong. At Caulfield has raced brilliantly since it's been redone.
Well, Jason normally does a good job, but I think you could leave off the words "in hindsight." He just got it wrong. Full stop.
Let's go. A big day for Rick. 25 years since Kenny Lass won the Marlborough Cup, as it was in those days. Had 18 name changes since. Maxie did their $12.70 Cornella to Rick. Craig Williams, his 4th win in the race. His dad won it as a jockey and as a trainer, and now Craig made 3. We'll get the Smart Missile on the beaten brigade shortly.
Yeah, we'll go through all those shortly. But the way the tracks plays at Caulfield, there was a whole range of press the week before, about 10 metres. And look, I've seen a sweepers track at Caulfield, a 15-metre rail. The thing is, when it gets firm, get on the speed.
Was that the plan, Rick?
And somehow I hung on.
How is the credit file going with the breeders, Rick? How are we tracking there?
I paid them all.
Oh, good.
That's up there. Our Mytho brought 10% off you.
His exact words were, "My sister-in-law married somebody with a shitload of money."
It's like Rich, don't you? Struggling 1 week to pay, and then
if he'd drawn a gate. And I might say here, I feel sorry for Anthony Cummings. He's a lovely young bloke. Well, compared with me, he's young. And to draw the outside gate and what happened. Don't worry, mate. I've been there plenty of times myself.
Let's hear from Craig Williams.
Just had a lovely run, Bruce, and I couldn't fault him at all. He probably didn't, like the hard track, but I felt him fold under me. But he tried his hardest, and he couldn't have run a better race.
He did, yeah. He was very brave in front and showed a lot of cheek.
It's 4 hours.
Probably if he drew in, he could have snuck, 3rd or 4th. He run really.
His manners. His barrier manners. He's been seen before. He's naughty in the barriers, and he's a bit naughty today. He jumped sort of flat-footed and come out on the side. Never got in the right stride. And then I elected not to give him a squeeze because once he's come out slow and then I'll fire him up in the other races, I thought, well, it's not going to be the best sort of recipe. So I rode him for luck, and probably luck didn't really come. But halfway through the race, I thought to myself, he's looking for the mile now. He's definitely the 1400 metre tempo was nearly taking him off the bridle a long way from home.
Did it give you a good feel, though?
Yeah, give me a good feel.
It went right. Go for Smart Missile. Did it? Brett saying the horse gave him a great feel, but he drew bad and thought it could happen. That it did.
Forgetful day, wasn't it? We sort of pondered on this show how they're going to get around Caulfield. He and Halbert. One passed the test and one didn't. That being Smart Missile. Of the others, Majestic Music was terrific. Really found the line. Blew at the forever, as good as any run in the race after being balked at about the 100, Bruce. And Day were very sound. We're forgiving Dream Away, Pinwheel, and Warren.
What did you make of it?
In Sydney, it had been small fields, and it had actually helped him. And he got in a big field yesterday. He's still learning his craft. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
No, that's the biggest thing. But like everyone's
He's going to get a capacity field. He's a bad beginner. He'll probably be in the same spot.
back against his own.
Guessing now the individual runners in the race, Ronnie, particularly Smart Missile, a bit like Pinwheel, didn't have too much luck at the start, missing the kick by 3/4 of a length, and that essentially cost him the race.
Well, as we've said on the show before, we know he's a star 3-year-old, but his racing style is just no good. He's going to run into more bad luck than good luck throughout his career. It's a total forgive run. I thought he went sensational. He's broke 11 between the 400 and the 200 on the bit. He went to the line hard heeled, making up ground. I thought his effort was excellent.
Look, I would have to agree. His effort was very good, and he is a great 3-year-old. Those older horses that don't make mistakes, that have more racing styles more conducive to those big fields full of tough horses. It's hard to beat them as a spring 3-year-old at any level. It's very difficult. It's often easier to beat them at weight for age, where you get a small field where you can get your 3-year-old into a good position with no weight. I think it's terribly hard to take on older horses at handicaps this time of year with a spring 3-year-old.
I think if he had a better racing pattern, he'd beat them. He'd be able to beat them. I think that all just them races where out the horse's ability, and he was just Johnny on the spot yesterday. He's come back from that throat operation. It seems to be a success, and like I say, he wouldn't sell him for under the odds, Rick. He's been patient. He's held on to him, and he's going to reap dividends from that. There's a couple other horses in the race we should talk about. Look, Warham was awful. He
never struck a blow, Warham, and that's unusual because I think the jockey did report that he didn't really stretch out on what was a very firm track, and to my eye, too firm for that time of year.
Oh, look, they cry out. They've been crying out for hard tracks for Warham. You can't have it both. You can't have it both ways.
No one's crying out for hard tracks this time of the year when you're trying to get horses all the way through to
They were predicting rain yesterday, and
there's always an excuse.
I reckon he's the best curator around, that bloke.
Well, you well might, and he well might be. But yesterday, very hard on the trainers and owners when they're trying to get their horses all the way through to the Flemington Carnival to produce a good two.
Leave me alone.
Hang on.
They would have been better off just leaving it a good 3.
Just tell a lie.
Yes, right. They do it every other time.
That's the very Sydney attitude, I suppose. But, the 1970s comes back to haunt us. But, these horses...
But here is the Cox Plate.
Of the day coming up nice and early on in the program. This is the Group 2 Stan Fox for the 3-year-olds. We've seen some pretty good horses win it in recent times. Decision time last year. Before that, Denman, a Golden Rose winner. Horses like Jet 12 and fluctuating between the two. Manawanui, the Golden Rose winner.
No, I think the shortest price favourite out here in a long time would have been Sepoy when he was beaten by Smart Missile. Here we are, Manawanui. They put up $1.14. Don't forget Sporting Bet. They took a bet, stood up $1.25. Sporting Bet bang into $1.20, and then this morning another 250,000 and another 100,000 into $1.18 at Sporting Bet. I still think you can get $1.14
to give their charges a run around the Caulfield track before heading onto the Caulfield Guineas, and that has certainly depleted this field. Roma Giaconda was slow out of the stalls, and State of Wealth went up on the outside with Manawanui, and they're vying for the lead, but the favourite will take over now, Manawanui. Schofield not going to muck about. He'll allow him to stride straight to the front and lead from State of Wealth, who's on. They head down the side straight. 700 metres to go, and Manawanui in front, loping along, the long odds-on favourite. $1.10 on the New South Wales TAB, a length and a half on State of Wealth. Cocky Raider in the box seat third, Irish Times is fourth. And last of all is Roma Giaconda. Well, they're starting to get to the serious end now, and the Manawanui in front and just slipped a little bit more rain. He exploded away at the top of the straight here. Instant acceleration from this galloper. He put about 4 or 5 lengths on Cocky Raider, then State of Wealth, Irish Times, and Roma Giaconda coming down the outside. But he's sitting as quiet as a church mouse on Manawanui, and this will hardly raise a sweat and get 150,000. Manawanui coasts in. Roma Giaconda got second. Cocky Raider third, then Irish Times. Last in State of Wealth.
Well, no surprise there. He absolutely dictated in front, Manawanui, didn't he? With Glenn Schofield on board. He just cruised along.
Super Tab, you got $1.04, and the thrill that the Tats gave you today, which was a wonderful thrill. They said, if you give us $100, we'll let you watch the race, and we'll just give you $100 back without anything. Please, $1.10 and $1.04 on the New South Wales tote. $1.12 will be your maxitive, though. He started $1.12 here on track, and that was what you call $150,000 for just an exhibition gallop. Now,
a good barrier trial here for me.
It certainly was, but he had racing when he goes to Melbourne.
He'll be racing from behind in Melbourne. He won't be leading. To me, we should be sitting back around 4th or 5th, and we'll use his speed at the other end.
Well, he had to win like that, didn't he? He was 29 ratings points above Cocky Raider. Roman Giaconda came off a Albury maiden win. Well done to David Hayes. Gets black type, Group 2 placed, get 50,000. Look, the win was good enough. That's what we had to do, Rich, 33.53. But I think the programming here of this race needs to be addressed.
It's funny, if Manawanui had gone to Melbourne, we would have had probably a capacity field. But he stayed here, scared a lot of the others off. There's no use trying to draw any conclusions out of the race, bar is saying that Manawanui's maintained his condition. He looked well. He travelled well. Zipped home in good time without being pressured at all. And he
6 Saturday race, if you take Manawanui out, Roma Giaconda did hit the line well. She's a big, strong filly, and she'll probably improve with the run. I've got to agree with the conditions of this race. I think at this time of year now, with the Guineas on preludes in Melbourne, they've got to look at doing something different. I think they're trying to go for a Group 1 race, but I don't think that's going to work.
Oh, boy, don't
I think, Bruce, last year we got 8 runners. I just think the set weights at this time of year, there's not enough horses around. Maybe opening up set weights and penalties or a handicap, I'm not sure.
Was that a Group 2 or a barrier trial? Mana Wanui in a cakewalk taking the Stan Fox Stakes at Rosehill yesterday.
Wanted to do, but it was quite evident that they were happy just to sort of let me go along and maybe let me win and then or contest for the minor money. But
That's how it looked.
yeah, once but I mean, he keeps beating, he keeps winning, and he beat the headline horses. Do you think he's getting the credit that he deserves? Probably not. But you know, we'll see when there's no excuses for the other two. Hopefully, in the Caulfield Guineas, there are no excuses for any of them. Obviously, in the Golden.
Rosehill Gardens, another stakes race on the program is race 3. It is the Dulcify handicap. Of course, this is for 3-year-olds over last race or the previous race. Flight of Pegasus, who was certainly not disgraced and stuck on well there on the inside. Not disgraced and stuck on well there on the inside.
Is riderless behind the stalls, and Christian Reith waiting for that racing. In the main, a good dispatch. Quack Quack will go back with Black Jag shortly after the start, and Big Time came out very quickly and took the early lead. Flight of Pegasus working up underneath it in the early stages to settle down second. St. Labomba from the wide alley going forward as well. And then Boys on Tour, Stella Vinia on the inside. Black Jag pretty trying to repeat the dose today. He's in front by about a length and a half. St. Labomba second, Boys on Tour third. Flight of Pegasus fourth. Just being niggled up a touch there as they travel down the side. Followed by Stella Vinia and then Morocco. At the head of the others next in Duna, Black Jag, followed by Volatile Matter, and last of all is Quack Quack. As they run into the 600, and the leader is Big Time by a length and a half. In second spot is St. Labomba. Stella Vinia saving ground in the inside, then Boys on Tour. Flight of Pegasus getting pushed right off the track. Morocco starting a run. And then came in Durner into the straight, and the leader is Big Time. It raced away. It's 2 lengths in front of Boys on Tour. Morocco and Nduna are trying to get out and run on, but Big Time exploded away at the 200 metres. He's 4 or 5 lengths in front. They're all chasing in vain because Big Time is well clear with 150 metres to go. He won on Sunday leading all the way. He repeats the dose here today, and Big Time comes on to win it. Second home was Quack Quack Nduna third, Black Jag fourth. Then Morocco, followed by St. Labomba.
Before Big Time takes out the Dulcify, that's his second win from 4 starts for Christian Reith. Judge that to perfection. English Interims, Big Time, $5.30, $1.90. Quack Quack at $3.10. And in
Nothing wrong with him. He's a better horse than that because he ran a good race in the Golden Rose, and that form should have stacked up well there. But all honours with the winner, he did it from the front and he sprinted away.
He looks like a stayer, that horse. He looks like he will stay. I'm not sure what level he goes to, but the rest behind him, I don't think any of them ran 1900 metres. I think they were going up and down to the one spot for about the last 400 metres of the race.
Quest, I'm pretty sure it's the third favourite. Torio's Quest has just jumped the rider and is off and gone on its first lap, and they'll do a good job to catch it. I'm pretty sure it's Torio's Quest. I'm pretty sure it's number 5, so that'll be unfortunate for Brett Partilli in the stable. But number 5, Torio's Quest, he's dumped the rider and he's on his way around the track.
Dear.
Oh,
He's all right.
We'll stay away from that.
All right, yeah. Torio's Quest definitely out. Syrian here by flying.
Fast clip, but geez, dramas galore. My heart I feel for Bert and the other owners of Torio's Quest, and also
down there. He could have been out on the road with the trucks. Now the runners are being called up. Secret Admirer moving up offenders. Dunner's about to release them. Off and racing. And Desperado came out quite quickly and has got the early lead from Lone Command and King Lionheart, and then Syrian Fast Clip. Well, he didn't jump all that flash. He's now starting to roll forward, but he's going to have to do some work to get there. Then Offender's Secret Admirer midfield, followed by Triple Honour, a half to older than time, and last of all is Levi's Choice. Fast Clip eventually worked up on the outside and hit the front 1100 to go and sped right away. He's opened up 3 lengths now. King Lionheart says steady the leader now. Fast Clip after he went out a little bit hard, and he leads by a length and a quarter. King Lionheart is second. 2 to Lone Command third. Syrian next, followed by Desperado. Secret Admirer starting to creep up on the outside, starting to edge a little bit closer. Then Triple Honour, followed by Offenders. Further back, Levi's Choice, and older than time last of all, coming into the straight in the Shannon. And Fast Clip just in front on the outside. King Lionheart a neck away. Then Syrian Secret Admirer taken to the outside. Lone Command looking for a split. Down to the 300. Fast Clip in front. Holding King Lionheart for the moment. Then Lone Command, Secret Admirer need to get moving. Down to the 200. King Lionheart moved up to Fast Clip. They're finding it out. Lone Command trying to get to them. King Lionheart on the outside just in front of Fast Clip, and King Lionheart beat Fast Clip. Lone Command got third. Then Secret Admirer and Syrian, followed by Older Than Time. Then Triple Honour, followed further back by Descartes.
House Quinella here at Rosehill Gardens in the Group 2 Shannon Stakes. The winner, number 10, King Lionheart for Tommy Berry. He has just got past the stablemate, number 7, Fast Clip, third place. Shannon's
Set up forward, and they were just waiting for Fast Clip to work forward and get around them. Fast Clip did that. And they kind of sprinted at the top of the straight, 33.60.
Over 7 Epsom. She's got King Lion up there, lightly raced. 6 winner from 12 starts. Almahar Gelding. A1-2 there. Favourite running second. Lone Command. Got to back up next week. Should have run.
Disappointing. I know they zipped home in 33.5, but she was entitled to finish a few lengths closer. She didn't zip home at all. Outside of the first couple, I thought the run of Older Than Time, who ran second in the Sydney Cup, was pretty good, getting home out wide. Winner went good, got the perfect run. We were just saying off air, Mark, Chris Muntz, he made plenty of use of Fast Clip early.
Yeah, well, he jumped poorly, and then I think he just went too hard in the first 400 or 500. He raced 3 lengths in front there by the time he got to the first bend. I think that was the difference in winning and losing, just coming out a bit slowly and then going a bit too fast.
Be the horse to give Gay Waterhouse a record equaling 7th win in the Epsom Handicap.
I'm not going to bag Gay at a Ramwick mile because she's nearly untouchable in it. He surprised me yesterday, King Lionheart. He lifted the bar to a whole new level, a level that he's never been before. He won a week race with 58 kilos first up or something, but obviously he's improved. So I'm not saying no. The second horse should have won. Fast Clip.
He did have a bit of a rough run early, didn't he?
Oh,
Had to
he
do
missed
some work.
the start, and then he drove the brains out of him, and to get there where he should have been just out of the barrier and lobbing along. So the early effort told there. Lone Command second up did a good job, and well, one of the favourites for the Epsom here, Secret Admirer. She lost a few admirers yesterday. Look,
There's something about her action that's just a bit.
she's always had that.
She might just be the way she moves, but it is a little odd. She changed stride. I wonder if she was just uncomfortable for some reason. I know she just didn't finish off the way she was. And of the beaten brigade, Desperado's not looking like a Melbourne Cup horse, is he?
No, well, he's had a few setbacks, so we'll judge him after his next run.
Awful week.
His next run.
Awful week.
There was a terrible incident here, very unfortunate for Connections with Torio's Quest, where he dumped Hugh Bowman, and look, he jumped the fence there, and there's Brett looking at him
out in the car park.
Out in the car park, and look, this is a horse he loves, and he's setting for Melbourne, and hopefully all's in good order with him.
What triggered that?
One cut just between the fetlock and the knee. They bandaged it last night. They've treated it. The horse maybe gallops on Friday between races at Wyong and then goes to the Toorak still. So there's a bit to play out.
Slate market with Sporting Bet at the moment. Now, interesting one they put up this morning with not nominated Atlantic Jewel at $10. Now, we'll get to her shortly, the 3-year-old filly. Only one, of course, Surround. Surround was pretty good, Rick, wasn't it? You remember Surround more than me.
Jeff Murphy.
Yeah.
Gray.
Only filly to have won it. Will they take that chance with Atlantic Jewel? Not nominated yet. Jimmy Chu, a favourite ahead of Helmet and Who Big Got You. It's changed yesterday, really the Caulfield Cup with the December draw. Or it did. December draw tightened. It was sitting at home, minding its own business, and they said, that's too wide, $4, $3.80. Now, it'll be interesting to see. Lady running the Turnbull. There's that first sight, line over Turnbull. It'll be a battle to get runs next week in the Turnbull Stakes. Track work Tuesday morning at Flemington. Critical to see how some of these are going. Some chance December draw might miss a run.
Well, we don't want that, not with our doubles going, Bruce, but look, obviously the one to beat, certainly short enough, but Green Moon there is interesting.
There's Lion Tamer, the favourite at the moment for the Melbourne Cup over December draw, Midas Touch, Scarlet Lady, and the horses that arrived yesterday, Lucas Cranage and Americane. Joe?
Okay, interesting to have a look at the Melbourne Cup at this point in time. I think we all agree.
You're kidding, Richard.
At first sight has been a real eye since over here in Australia. We'll move on to Alco Pop in a minute. But Ronnie, at first sight, we've already outlined that Lloyd Williams has got a very strong team of stayers coming up over the spring, but this horse looks the real deal, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Look, it's a long way off, and I don't like long range tips unless they're well out in the market. He's 20 to 1. That's probably his right price.
I know.
Joyce, is simply because Sepoy's at his mark. He's found his price.
She's proven in the wet. She's proven first up. Yep. She's a great mare. I mean,
he's first up on about Sepoy. Punters are all over the champion 2-year-old from last season. And he's odds on in the ring. $1.90 was the best. He's into $1.85. Got down as low as $1.80. Happy Zero 18 to 20 on track. Buffering 14 to 16. Atomic Force will love this. $9 to 11. More Joyous $3 out to $3.40. Sister May, I've seen it previously where she's been a little bit on the light side.
Yeah, she was light early in preparations too.
She's always been a bit like that. She's had the setback coming into this preparation, but she galloped beautifully the other day and looks like she's... here comes the favourite. He's just about to walk past us now from our broadcast position, and this is Sepoy cracking tight.
He certainly is. Well, don't really need to comment on him too much.
It's into $13, but Sepoy has been heavily backed. And even when you look at
14 and a mile,
I'm not sure, Turpy. They say that he's going to probably be just as good when he can take a sit and relax.
Very relaxed. He is a relaxed.
They're set. Racing in the Manicato. Oh, Sepoy not the best about. He'll have to do some work here. Away fast, buffering Cool Grinder and Sister Madly. Now Sepoy drives through and he's going to retain the inside, but he is working. Buffering's going hard on the outside of him. McAvoy's going to have to ease and let him go. Buffering 3/4 Sepoy, Cool Grinder, 1 Sister Madly, 2 more Joyous, idling off that really hectic pace. 2 lengths further back in the field, then came Atomic Force as they run up the side, and they're followed then by Happy Zero and back last Rue Maple. It's Sepoy, the leader. He's done a lot of work. He's been softened up. He led by a half to Buffering, a length and a half Sister Madly, a neck to Cool Grinder. Atomic Force has gone up and pocketed more Joyous before they got to the turn. And up towards the bend, Sepoy by 3/4 Buffering. Cool Grinder's coming on. Sister Madly waits behind them. Then Atomic Force, more Joyous working clear. Sepoy, the leader. Cool Grinder's throwing out a challenge on the outside. Sister Madly, Buffering, more Joyous and Atomic Force, but Sepoy burst away from them. Good is he? He's raced 3 lengths clear and he'll bolt it in. What a great 3-year-old. Sepoy put in by 2 lengths to Sister Madly. Photo third, more Joyous and Buffering. Then Atomic Force and Rue Maple. Happy Zero and Cool Grinder.
Something special. Sepoy delivers another knockout punch. Had to work hard. He didn't jump out of the gate well. He's missed the kick by about a half length or so. Buffering took him on, made him drive and keep pushing up on the rail. He was there to be beaten. He was going to be a bit vulnerable. The fence has been okay leading tonight, and he gave that beautiful kick on the home corner. It's going to take a pretty good horse to beat him for the rest of the preparation. Sister Madly again.
Terry, that was simply outstanding. We looked at each other halfway through the race and said, look, whatever happens, he's vulnerable here. You're right. He missed the kick half a length. He had to kick and kick and kick and kick. Looked like he was going to hold out Buffering quite comfortably. Buffering then had another crack. Kieran McAvoy persevered, and he's kicked on the home turn. He's won easily, Terry. This has been a terrific win. More Joyous, nothing away. This horse is an absolute star, And
you look a little bit emotional. I'm pretty keen to chat to your dad as well, and I think it's the first time you two have seen each other. And Pete, congratulations. You've got yourself another superstar.
Yeah, no, he's a great horse. I'm very lucky to have him, Jason. It's a tremendous win. Did it the hard way, but just showed just how good he is.
The hard way, the amazing amount of speed on. When did you think, what was going through your mind when he missed the kick a little bit and then had to hunt up and really challenge?
You don't want to go in there. The first 50 metres wasn't good. But look, he's good enough. He recovered. He did the right thing holding his spot, because I think if you let Buffering cross him, he'd have been in all sorts of trouble. So he did the right thing in kicking up, holding that spot. Was able to give him another 2 furlongs. He gave him a breather. And that was probably what made the difference. That's why he kicked as well as he turned up at home. But tremendous horse. I was very...
A serious horse. He is a star.
Yeah, he's just a little beauty. He's so intelligent and he's got the talent to boot as well.
He missed the kick. What happened out of the barriers?
Yeah, he can sometimes just jump a little bit sticky. And I had Reggie up with me just to sort of get him standing up. And I was a tad worried the first couple of strides, but he's got the ability to be able to zip through, and he was able to hold his spot. I was a little bit worried about how hard Buffering was going to make us work, but he's got all the talent in the world, and he's just a great horse to be a part of. Thank you.
There's Kieran McAvoy, the superstar jockey on a superstar horse. A Sepoy wins, and Terry, I think you've got all the interim divs there in front of you.
Yeah, he's paid $1.70. Sporting Bet Manicato Stakes, Sporting Bet Market Mover goes home. Wonderful, wonderful.
behind them. Then Atomic Force. More Joyous working clear. Seapoy the leader. Brenda's throwing out a challenge on the outside. Sister Madly buffering More Joyous and Atomic Force, but Seapoy just away from them. Good is he? He's raced 3 lengths clear, and he'll put it in. What a great 3-year-old. Seapoy put in by 2 lengths to Sister Madly. Photo third, More Joyous and Buffery.
You're a great 3-year-olds. He sure is. Out in 34.55. Where was he getting a breather? He wasn't. 35.53 home there. All honest to him, plain and simple. What you see is what you get. He's a star.
Yeah, we can't overanalyse that. Pressured all the way, still manages within 2/100ths of a second of the fastest split of the night. That is amazing. Considering the fastest of the night sat back and ran home. Just phenomenal. Gap back to third, and that third horse is one of the best horses in the country.
Yeah, well, Sister Madly.
Hope we get to see him here for a little while longer.
Well, I think everyone in Australia wants to see Black Caviar versus Seapoy, and unfortunately, I think Royal Ascot is the place you're going to have to go to see it.
Yeah, well, that's an email through too from our good friend Steve E from Lamia. Rich says after the years of Seapoy's emphatic win in the Manikato Stakes, there was a buzz about a possible clash between the outstanding colt and the champion mare, Black Caviar. Of course, there'll be a 4.5 kilo difference under weight for age. I just wonder, Black Caviar handle Seapoy, wouldn't
I know which corner I'd be in at the moment, but gee, wouldn't it be a mouth-watering clash, Bruce?
Thanks. As you've already outlined, Richard, it was an absolutely stunning performance. He is a superstar.
He is a superstar because for a spring 3-year-old to do that to tough older sprinters, he dwelt at the start. It wasn't great. But, you know, he had to drive him through. You want to be up on the pace on those night meetings, and especially, you know, on that track, it's percentage play. But I thought, okay, well, if he can just grind home and maybe fall in, that'll be a great effort. But he spaced them. He pulled their pants down on the corner, and I could see behind him the good mare on the fence there was just travelling beautifully behind him. She systematically couldn't go with him when he went.
Well, neither could More Joyous. You know, like they were softened. He was softened up. I know it was hard if you weren't in close to the fence again. I don't want to get on that start on that again, but anyway,
it wasn't that bad there on Friday night.
Go and have a look at the replay.
Hours of heavy rain, 68 mils fell on the track leading into that
it coped with the rain
Stakes
beautifully.
meeting. And the track was originally rated dead 5. It's downgraded to slow 6, I think, after race 1. But considering all of that, the track did hold up.
I thought buffering actually ran pretty well, given that I just thought the ride was a bit suicidal to try and, you know, keep hunting and hunting and hunting outside of Seapoy there. So he hung on well. More Joyous. I don't think things went right for her, but she wouldn't have got close to Seapoy. She might have run a closer third.
So where do they go with her now, Ronnie?
I don't know. It's the first time we've missed Bensley now this morning. Where's more? Can someone ring Bensley and find out where More Joyous is going?
This is Black Caviar.
No. If he was my horse, she's on a whole different planet.
I just think you don't need to do it.
You don't. If he was mine, he wouldn't even be going there.
Well,
maybe at Royal Ascot next year.
He'll be ending up overseas, I would think.
Yeah, and that's the plan with her. So
when he goes overseas is the question. The better he looks, the more accelerated that process may be.
I'd say he's gone after the spring, honestly.
Well, that's now out to $3 on the TAB. He's at $1.50.
That is bizarre.
That's on a big pool, so he's got a lot of followers. Let's go straight to the mounting yard here.
I think you were there, Terry. You said, watch out for this horse. He's well above average and just gives away too much. You know
what you tell me, Turfy? Look at that slug out. That's what you always say.
Give us a younger one then.
Well,
on course is $2 into 130, $2 and 130, I should say, on the tax. They're off and racing. Chase the Rainbow a little slow near the outside. Cute Emily began well, and so did Whisper Downs. Caravaggio and Zabillionaire's being ridden right up on the pace, and Kaito is there as well. So there's a fair bit of speed about in the first part of the race. First bend coming up. The favourites back last of all. Chase the Rainbow, and Chase the Rainbow's last on the rails. At the 800 turn, Cute Emily the leader. About a length in front. Running second is Whisper Downs. Over on the inside third, Caravaggio from Kaitoa. One further back, Zabillionaire being followed by Sabridge. And then came Chase the Rainbow in an awkward place down on the inside with Rock Musician. Cute Emily, the leader. They haven't run it particularly hard, and she's a half length in front of Whisper Downs, a length to Caravaggio, Kaito as a billionaire. Sabridge starting a move, and they're followed by Chase the Rainbow being called on now, and Rock Musician is back last. Cute Emily, the leader, a length in front of Whisper Downs, Caravaggio, one Sabridge, the billionaire. Now Chase the Rainbow pulling to the outside, needing his big burst, because Cute Emily has shot away. She's gone out by 2 or 3. Here's Chase the Rainbow starting to charge down the outside. Cute Emily, the leader, by a length and a half. Chase the Rainbow starting to gather her in now. Cute Emily gathered up by Chase the Rainbow, draws to the lead, and Chase the Rainbow came away and beat Cute Emily by a length. Sabridge 2 lengths third, Billionaire ran fourth, a gap to Caravaggio, Kaitoa, and at the end, a Whisper Downs back there in company with Rock Musician.
Market Mover goes home. He was back in the run, had to come around them on the circle. He won like a good horse, an aggressive horse. Rick Lacey has always had a very, very high opinion of this galloper. He mentioned it to us on TV and going back some months ago, and he's lived right up to that. $2.10, $1.30.
Round out wide there, and I know he's at level weights here, bar the fillies, but he's done a really good job because he's actually won by a length and a half running away at the end there. And no horse has been able to do that. Cute Emily, as you said, had
started the night because when we spoke to him coming to the track, we said, we've got these great golf clubs. And he said, I need something better than that. So we banned him from right at the
Got yourself a really nice colt, haven't you?
Yes, he is.
That was a huge performance because we know the way the track's playing tonight. For him to get back and run on, what was going through your mind 600 out?
Well, it was tempting to ride him closer and given the pattern of racing tonight, but I told the stewards we were not going to change his riding style. He's a very promising horse. He doesn't pull. And once you kick him up early and teach him to pull, it's bloody hard to get him out of the habit.
He's by.
Rick got it right again. Dash for Cash Gallop ahead. Cost $90,000 from Swettenham. Start at the Premier Sale. Scratch from the Prelude. Track 2 firm. Got the right conditions on Friday. Well, the right track conditions. Still got to go and do it. And did it. Outstanding. Derby favourite for sure.
And Emu today, Bruce, you've summed it all up. Came wide against the pattern of the day. A huge win. And he's a very, very good horse. Runner-up was terrific. Rail out 3 sort of suited her. She gave a kick. I like the run of Sabridge.
For Rick Pinnacles ran well yesterday in Sydney in the Epsom. And just to show you how cold it was on Friday night, Rich and Mark, I know you weren't there, but you probably tuned in feeling how cold it was. Rick decided to show us, and of course he'll back up next week and try and do a Helena's really. Helena's going through the start, the Guineas in the Vase and into the Victoria Derby. But
it was a very impressive win on Friday night.
Outstanding win. Defied the pattern, but he's good enough to do it. I think they were overdoing it up front by this stage, which helped the speed. But he's the best of the Melbourne colts by a long way coming into the Guineas, a long way. His problem is the Sydney boys. Rick's got 40 to 1 for the Guineas. Rick, I hope you're on each way because these Sydney horses are going to be tough nuts to crack. Manawanui and Helmet and Smart Missile.
It's going to be a great Guineas, no doubt about that, with quality of 3-year-olds.
Oh, look, I'm not saying, you never say never, but if one of our 3
top pick with TAB Sportsbet ahead of Costly Commitments and Health.
And we're bringing you from Hastings, the Spring Classic. This is, of course, the former Celt Capital Stakes, the Group 1 race. And we just saw in the bottom of the screen in the red colours, Jimmy Shoe. That's where the main interest lies. John Barry deciding he did need another run before the Cox Plate. He is $1.30 on racing.
Pretty good line as well as they break away from the 2,040 metres. Dawn goes straight back. Back and Black's ridden hard. Dom Domingo and New Moon go forward. Jimmy Shoe's going to posse up just in behind the speed over on the inside. And then Red Ruler Sea Flight. El Santo's the widest runner as they get down to us, a circuit to make. Hold it, Harvey, back over on the inside rail. Titch over on the outside of him, and then Booming. And Dawn goes as they work down the back, although it may become a bit more contested now. 1,000 to go. And Red Ruler's the leader. Sea Flight's a neck away second now. El Santo third outside of Back and Black. The next New Moon. Then over on the inside is Jimmy Shoe. He's 6th in the running as they run to the 800 metres now. A little more than a length. Dom Domingo around Hold It Harvey. Here's Booming taking off around Titch and Dawn Ghost as they run down the side. Chad Ormsby dictating the speed on Red Ruler. Sea Flight is second. Back and Black behind them and then El Santo. New Moon is the next. Dom Domingo's going forward. Jimmy Shue, he's riding him for a little bit of luck. He's looking to angle off now and gets through. Hold it, Harvey follows him, then Titch as they swing the corner, then Boomina and Dawn Ghost on the inside. Red Roller sprinting at the top of the stretch. He's on them from back and black. Jimmy Shue trying to gun him down now. Over on the inside between these. He's charge. Jimmy Shue Beauty on his way to the Cox Plate. He's jockey off just after the line. Then we had the next one home. It's been New Moon. Then back and black dial. The next one, Dawn Goes Sea Flight Titch. The next has been El Santo, Dom Domingo and Boomine. And he's all right, Jamie Bullard, straight up on his feet. Wow. What a win.
Well, what a thrilling.
He must be having a day off. I think he got the job done. Not getting carried away about them. Gator, absolutely presented to it. All that tells you is, as my Kingdom of Fife showed, he's going well and he'll be there on the day.
Two things from the race. One is I love the way he picked up and sprinted. He was held up, and that's what you need. You need to be able to accelerate, and he was pretty soft the last 100. So, look, he's obviously classes above them, which he needs to be to measure up in.
Well, Red Ruler was gone in Melbourne about 2 years ago, Rich, but a similar scenario, isn't it, to my Kingdom of Fife? All you know is your horse is fit, well, and upside coming into Melbourne for the Cox Plate.
Look, I think he's a great chance to the Cox Plate. I think he's silly odds at the moment. $5 4 to 1 in the Cox Plate, and he's now going to take on A grade. But that said, we've seen him over here. He was awesome in the Rosehill Guineas. We know he can run 1.25 miles. And what Gator said right, I think you need a turn of foot, and he showed a turn of foot because he looked when Red.
That he's done what he's done.
WS Cox Plate, eh?
Yeah, throw a shrimp on the barbie. Tell the Aussies to be over in 2 weeks.
The reigning New Zealand Horse of the Year, Jimmy Choo, played at home yesterday at Hastings, winning the Group 1 Spring Classic leading into the Cox Plate. They're pretty cocky about his chances.
Well, I'm a believer now. I think they should be cocky. I've heard the trainer and the owner on radio interviews in Australia, and he'll never be beaten again. He'll be unbeaten till the Cox Plate. We're all just rolling our eyes. I'm a believer. He's a superstar. A deserved Cox Plate favourite. He's come back in terrific form, better than he was at 3. There's no doubt about that. I don't care about the opposition here. It's the manner in which he put pay to them.
Horses, red colours. There's Red Ruler. He kicked 4 lengths on the corner, which actually created the space for Jimmy Shue to come through. And when he saw daylight, this is the sign of a very good horse. Red Ruler was getting tired. You could see him coming back to the whole field there.
This is good work.
It's a very good horse.
An easy kill for him. He wasn't there to get a huge slice of prize money because that race, worth $2 million a number of years ago, has dropped each year in value.
Yeah, that's a shame. We don't like losing sponsors or prize money.
So Jimmy Choo, you're both quite taken by that.
He's a worthy favourite. Don't worry.
He's a worthy favourite unless Helmet blows him away in the Guineas. And then he's a worthy.
Footing bet app. Download and you won't be forgotten. But the other best back runner, Caroline, is Masthead, 550 to 4.
Pretty much on start time. Here's Mike for the call.
All right, Caroline.
Do you think jumped out fast? Masthead didn't jump all that well, and Nash has sent Foxwedge straight to the lead. So the favourite takes it up in the early stages. Start True's in second spot, followed by Do You Think, and then Aeronautical. He's trying to ease back to the tail on it, and he'll succeed in doing that, but he's pulling a little bit, and Masthead went past him on the rail. So Foxwedge is getting a picnic here in the early stages, led out by 3/4 on Star True, who's getting a little bit fine up now in second spot. And then over on the inside, Masthead, followed by Do You Think, and Aeronautical back last, about 4 off the lead. Now, Star True's going up to put some pressure on Foxwedge as they run to the 600. And these two are eyeballing each other, followed by Masthead and Do You Think. And Aeronautical is still about 3 or 4 lengths off the lead, last of all. Coming into the straight. And the leader is Foxwedge from Star True's on the outside. They're still held together. Now he gets a little bit serious on Foxwedge as Star True shaded it briefly. Now, Do You Think is running on down the outside. Masthead switching to the inside and Aeronautical. Foxwedge had the better sprint, got away. Do You Think moved into second on the outside. Masthead coming along the inside later. It's Foxwedge in front. He'll hang on here. Nash punches him out and wins it narrowly from Masthead. Third home, Do You Think, and then Star True's and Aeronautical back last of all.
Number 2, Foxwedge, the short price favourite. He has saluted here in the Roman Consul. The Group 2 is beaten number 1, Masthead, and number 4,
Was going to take on Sepoy in the Coolmore now after that skinny win over Masthead, who was slowly away. I don't think Nash left much at home there, getting that home, Rich. Yeah, good win, good enough.
It was only race 3, Bruce. If it hadn't have won, I was already on the canvas, and I didn't have to do the 10 count. The towel was already in. I thought I was in big trouble. Nash just reckons he's a cult, he's a bludger, you know. And he said he thinks the job's done as soon as he gets a neck in front of something. He just stops. Nash had the spurs on him yesterday. Look, Nash is he's always upbeat about it. He honestly thinks he'll win a good race. But look, Sepoy, he'll only do nothing but chase Sepoy. Master
Falling in as the favourite in the Roman Consul. The eye-catching performance was from Masthead flashing along the rails.
Good bunch of horses. Usually in a bunch finish like that, I get a little bit sus about the form. But even though that was a bunch finish, I think this is good form. He's a nice horse, Fox Wedge. He looked to be threatened there, and I like the way he lifted and fought hard to the line. Masthead still early in his preparation. He's got Sepoy form. He can lift again, and maybe even 1400 could suit him, or a mile. Do you think? I think Bart's back on track with him. I love this horse. He's the horse that toyed with Manawanui at his first start. Just lost his way in Melbourne looking for the mile. I think he looks a sprinter to me, do you think? And if he reacts accordingly there, he's in the mix. Look, Star Truth still a work in progress there, and Aeronautical just far too...
Before we go back to Hastings, number 1, Dan Lee, $9.50 opened up. He's out to $11. The favourite, Love Conquers All, was $1.95 into $1.85. He's just gone back to $1.90, but he dominates the market. Albert the Fat, $5 to $5.50. Now this is the bookmakers' pin-up horse. They've backed him again. $13 Neeson into $8. He's been well backed again. Melbourne Cup.
Race number 4, the Premier Stakes. So Winter King, Neeson, Hurdle Myrtle and Albert. And they're off. Winter King the best out. Love Conquers All on the inside, jumped okay. Lucha Libre showing some pace, and Neeson going up on the outside. And then there's a group at the back, Hurdle Myrtle, Albert the Fat and Dan Lee. Linking onto the course proper, and Winter King takes it up just in front of Lucha Libre's holding the inside advantage. Neeson sitting off them in third spot. Albert the Fat's moved up on the outside of Love Conquers All, so it's got it in a pocket at the moment. And then Dan Lee, and back last of all, Hurdle Myrtle at the 600. And Lucha Libre went through along the fence and is shading Winter King. Neeson's got the good trail behind them. Love Conquers All fourth. Cassidy just niggling along. And then Albert the Fat on the outside. Dan Lee next, and Hurdle Myrtle at the rear of the field. Coming into the straight. And Winter King and Lucha Libre fighting it out. Neeson poised behind them. Love Conquers All. He's still about 3 lengths away, giving a smack with a whip. He'll have to pick up in a moment because he's giving away a big start. Neeson shot to the front now. Neeson in front. Hurdle Myrtle coming down the outside with Albert the Fat. No Love Conquers All. But Neeson back in distance today. It's going to prove a winning mood by Joe Pride. And Neeson races down to the post to win it from Hurdle Myrtle. Love Conquers All got going at the finish to get up for third, but he was never a winning chance. And then Albert the Fat, followed by Lucha Libre, Dan Lee, and Winter King has finished last of all.
Well, Joe Pride was spot on. Neeson takes out the Premier Stakes for 2011. He's beat
the pin-up horse for the punters today, $13 into $8
by a half length. And Brian, of course, there are the English syndromes on your screen as well. $8, $3.80 the winner, $4.80 Hurdle.
Sometimes you wonder why it's tough being a punter. Beat his favourite $3.90, beat his favourite $2.80, $13 into $8.50, freshened up. Wins. Love Conquers All went 5 strides, and you knew at the $1.90 you were gone.
Play of the day at Newcastle, 1,500 metres, but back here takes a sit on them and sprints well. Ran good time for the day, 110.2 as well.
Yeah, Rich, the Love Conquers All was playing there.
Disappointing. Look, prior to yesterday, I went around to 2 bookmakers' houses for a cup of coffee a week before. I went to the bathroom. They both had a picture of this horse on the back of their door. He's been their pin-up horse for a long time, Neeson. But the punters that stuck solid got a bit of money yesterday. Rock hard fit, back in trip. That was the difference yesterday. But Love Conquers All, he never, ever travelled, Mark.
No, maybe the hard run first up. I know we say it sometimes in hindsight. Maybe he's looking for a little bit further. I was on him. I thought he'd just turn up and win, but he was gone a long way from home. And Neeson, 13 into 8. They must have a crystal ball. They're too good for me.
50 post time. Great training effort by Joe Pride to get the horse switched on yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic. I can't catch him. Seriously, I'll be on his back big time. What do you mean who cares? I can.
You can catch him or not?
It was a great training performance yesterday. Joe had realised that he wasn't going to run the mile of the Epsom, which he's been setting him through for all preparation. And after Newcastle at the Cameron, he said, no, we're not going in the right direction here. Let's freshen him up and train him like a sprinter again. And look what happens.
And not only that.
Well, Randwick, the Craven Plate, the Group 3, the last of the non-Group 1 races for the day. The next 4 races will be Group 1s. And here we have another short prize favourite. It is My Kingdom of Five. He is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes winner, a Group 1 winner back in the autumn. He's $1.50, but...
Adults, Gay Waterhouse, Acma Marine. It takes it. And the favourite probably broke in front, My Kingdom of Five. Now Viking Legend and Lawn Dancer are hurrying through to take over. And it's Viking Legend in front by a length and a half, Lawn Dancer, and then Shoot Off on the inside. Syrian next, Older Than Time, being hustled forward on the outside by Cassidy. And she's moving forward into about second or third. My Kingdom of Five allowed to find his legs in the early part. 800 to go. And the leader is still Viking Legend, but they've closed the margin. It's Older Than Time moving up within 3/4 of a length. Lawn Dancer moving up into third, 3 wide. Then Shoot Off, followed by Syrian starting to stride forward. Then Gazaguru. My Kingdom of Five making a move. He's starting to come into it strongly now from Zara Dancer. At last of all is Bid Spotter. Around the turn. And it's Viking Legend just in front. Older Than Time swinging wide. Shoot Off in the centre. My Kingdom of Five and Lawn Dancer are next. Shoot Off took the lead with about 250 to go. Now the favourite, My Kingdom of Five, ambles up on the outside. He gives him a flick down the shoulder. My Kingdom of Five goes to Shoot Off, hits the front. Then Gazaguru, Syrian starting to run on late. But My Kingdom of Five, 3 starts at Randwick and 3 group wins. He comes away. My Kingdom of Five beat Shoot Off. Third home Gazaguru, Syrian fourth. Then Older Than Time, Zara Dancer, followed by Bid Spotter, Viking Legend, and last in Lawn Dancer.
Well, if he was going to be a Cox Plate chance, he needed to do that. My Kingdom of Five, second up, $1.60 the tote, $1.50 from My Kingdom of Five, $1.60, $1.55 in the end on course, $1.20 the tote.
The horse Richard Pegan from Wagga Wagga pulled off the Queen of England and is now unbeaten at Randwick on track for the Cox Plate. 90% fit, said Chris yesterday. Had to beat Shoot Off and Gazaguru, but it's just the way it happened. All got mildly lame, according to the stewards, Rich, but I don't think that's any issue going forward.
No, Chris was expecting that. He was a little bit underdone, a little bit scratchy in his action. 3 weeks' time, he'll be cherry ripe. He'll be a player. I really think he'll be a player because he's a winner.
Step up. Is the Cox Plate within his reach?
Well, like I say, on that performance, no. He beat up a team of Neville nobodies. The timing is there, though. Like I say, Chris hasn't wound him up. He's spaced runs. He was only second up there yesterday, and another after 3 weeks, and another 3 weeks to the Cox Plate. So it's a funny prep, but Chris knows him pretty well now, and he's reacted to his training. And like I say, he'll be right on the day. Whether he's good enough, I'm not sure. Maybe a race like the McKinnon might be more his go, because like I say, he's early in his prep, and the timing looks right for him. For what race, I don't know.
It's just a case of a weight for age horse who's the only previous weight for age winner in the field, just absolutely smashing a team of handicappers.
Did you smash them?
Oh, look, given that he's not 100% right and he ambled up outside them, and he's probably switched off the last 50, 100 metres as well because he was so, doing them so easily. I think he smashed them, and I'll take anything away from those other horses. They're
Definitely, Caroline. Strike the Stars, though, has been the best back runner as soon as prices went up earlier in this week. Let's go down. This is the English Group 1. Group 1 Spring Champion Stakes. Leaders in the betting and the new age of revolutionary. Number 2, Strike the Stars.
They're all in and they're off and racing now. King's Pack from the inside jumped well. So did moving up on the outside quickly, Dr. Doom. And it'll go to the lead. So Dr. Doom in front of Darcy Be Good. The favourite was away well. Strike the Stars. Godspeed starting to stride forward up on the outside, 3 deep. And then Ambidexter out a little bit wide in the early part. McAvoy just booting up to try and find a spot a little bit closer to the rail, followed by Blackjack and then Sangster and Rekindled Alliance at the rear of the field. Dr. Doom snuck away here, coming up towards the 650. He's 3 lengths in front now of Ambidexter. And then Darcy Be Good, given every chance by Nash. Godspeed was next, followed further back by King's Pack and then Strike the Stars. On the outside of it is Blackjack as they approach the turn from Sangster. And last Rekindled Alliance coming to the straight. Dr. Doom held together led. Ambidexter closest to it, 2 away. Darcy Be Good switched into the clear and Strike the Stars is starting to run on.
It's Dr. Doom in front. Ambidexter and Darcy Be Good are closing in on the outside. Dr. Doom still the leader. Darcy Be Good looming up. Dr. Doom in front. Quinn nursing him. Darcy Be Good struggling to get to him. Dr. Doom's in front. He's hanging on now. Darcy Be Good puts in the big strides. Missed. Dr. Doom has led all the way and beat Darcy Be Good. Sangster, I think, got third in front of Ambidexter and Strike the Stars. And then we've got him behind them next as they cross the line. Rekindle Alliance, followed further back by Black Jag. And then King's Pact, and last in was Godspeed.
Oh, Guy Waters always had a high opinion of this horse. Dr. Doom, he almost won the Gloaming, but he ran them off their legs here in the Spring Champion Stakes, the Group 1. Well done to Rod Quinn riding.
Set himself, but the thing I liked about his ride was passing the 600 when he tried to put it.
Last two, just 3 runs ago over the mile, had been second every chance to Strike the Stars, but when it counted yesterday, stepped up to the plate, given a gun ride by Quinn in front to take Group 1, beating Darcy Be Good and the very impressive for mine, Sangster. Did you get away with this one, Guy? Beautiful ride here by Rod, wasn't it?
A fabulous ride, Bruce. Yeah, he rated him beautifully. He waited till the last possible minute to go for him. Got a bit of a breakdown for 600 too, Rode him superbly.
Yeah, Guy, you're not a bloke that second guesses yourself. You make a decision, you stick with it. Like Stream will go to the paddock. After last start running second and behind Strike the Stars, you were thinking the paddock. What made you change your mind?
Well, firstly, my wife, she was very keen that I run him. But
no, that's
But what happened when he thought he could win the chance? But look, what we did, we kept. He's a horse that's just kept progressing, And the more I've worked, he's a good horse. The more I worked him, the more he likes it. And I've really stepped him up the last couple of weeks, and he's just absolutely thrived. And that's what happened. He'll go out now.
The Rainbows, we'll get to it later. Outstanding on Friday night in the Stud Stakes, $5.50. You know what they're running every
Stakes yesterday. A masterful ride by Rod.
Didn't. Well, Ambidextrous couldn't get in, and when he come round, it fired him up a little bit, and so I had to sort of let him stride a bit just to get him to relax again, because if he's a funny sort of horse, if you sit there and try and restrain. Race back to about the 700 or 800. I really think the second horse should have won. Nash should have been on your back here. I don't like to be critical of Nash because he's a fantastic jockey. And
a great day too.
Yeah, look, I just feel that you were going 3/4 pace here and no one wanted to make up the ground. They let Rodney get away, and obviously Nash didn't want the fence. Otherwise he would have been on the winner's back here because he's still cruising. And the winner gets away with no effort at all. So I could make a case to say that the second horse should have won. And dare I say it was a little bit of error in judgment from our leading jockey.
Well, I think Nash was waiting for Ambidexter to go to the leader, and he didn't do it.
Well, the damage was done earlier on. From the 800 to the 600, Dr. Doom was just come back for his rest again, and they let him get away a length and a half.
I know. It was a great ride from a wise old head.
Welcome back to Race Day Live and Royal Randwick, the feature event of the day. The racingnetwork.com.au. Epsom Handicaps and Zero is the favourite, the George Main Stakes winner. But it's a bit of a drifter here. There's money for a couple of others. Racingnetwork.com.au, where you can get all your form, your archives, your race replays. Racingnetwork.com.au.
Farley, a little bit nervous, but he's got a good horse. Out to $5. Lucky in Running will play a role. $50 to $7.50. Secret Admirer, $8 unmoved. Red Trade Gamble, I thought he'd get out. Wow, hasn't the money come for him? Now into $4.20. $5 into $4. Number 1, Steve Farley, Chris O'Brien, 1-800-00.
Today and very heavily backed, $4 in the ring and on the tote. Away from that, Pinker's been a bit of a drifter.
Now they steady, they're off and racing. Red Colossus a little bit tardy. Sincero, and thank God you're here, jumped out well. So did Pinker, King Lionheart racing up on the outside with Light Brigade, more Strawberries, and also Red Tracer. And Renewed Vitality going up near the inside. And then came Pinnacles and Willie Jimmy. Red Colossus about midfield. Sincero likewise on the fence, followed by Dealer Principal. And then Raspberries, Triple Elegant, Secret Admirer, and Sacred Choice went back to last as they sort themselves out. And King Lionheart booted up to take the front. Led from Red Tracer, working up on the outside to join it. Renewed Vitality trailing them on the inside. Pinker, more Strawberries fifth but out wide. And then Thank God You're Here back along the rail, followed by Willie Jimmy out wide and Pinnacles in the centre. Fortella midfield, Sincero on the inside of it from Light Brigade. Red Colossus still out deep. And then Sacred Choice on the inside from Triple Elegance. Dealer Principal in that group as well. Secret Admirer a long way back and covering plenty of ground. And Raspberries about second last. King Lionheart the leader from Red Tracer as they near the turn. Pinker on their back. On the outside, Renewed Vitality and more Strawberries. Then at the head of the others, Pinnacles and Willie Jimmy. Fortella trying to get to the outside, and Thank God You're Here and Sacred Choice have saved ground near the inside. Red Tracer straight up and hit the front. Led from on the outside, more Strawberries. Here comes Secret Admirer. She's starting to fly down the outside. Red Tracer in front. Secret Admirer starting to gobble it up out wide. Secret Admirer's hit the front. She takes the lead in the Epsom, and Secret Admirer raced away to beat Pinker. Photo for third, Willie Jimmy or Red Tracer. And then we've got in behind them Pinnacles from Fortella, and then Sincero, and on the inside of it, Sacred Choice from Red Colossus, and then Triple Elegance, followed by Renewed Vitality, then Raspberries, Dealer Principal, King Lionheart, more Strawberries, and at the back of the field was Light Brigade, bar one, Thank God You're Here, which has pulled up a long last.
Well, she likes the big carnival days. Congratulations. Breton Abdallah Graham Beck. She won the flight stakes this day last year. She's come back. Secret Admirer and taken out the racingnetwork.com.au Epsom Handicap for 2011. She's always had that great turn of foot late. She can fly home when she's in good order, and she's backed up beautifully, as you would expect. And a great big salute there before the line. And
I know she had plenty of knockers from last week. The ground didn't suit her, the pace of the race. Rail had been 6 metres, but, we didn't give up, about this week. And we just had it right on the day, and that was what it was all about.
Saturday.
Nothing. Well, she had a gallop last week. She had a 1,500 metre gallop last week. I don't mean to say that she had a gallop in a practice, but she actually that was her work last week.
Onwards to Melbourne.
Last week.
Onwards to Melbourne.
Well, we're going to decide which way we go.
What a mate.
Thanks.
There he is, begging.
Interims there on your screen as Secret Admirer paid $9.90, $3.60, $2.60 for Pinker.
I say, she's been everything to me, this little thing. So, really brought a tit high, when I went past the post, raw emotion, but we haven't.
6 ago, she signalled her arrival, the flight stakes. 12 months later, she's got the main race of the day.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's only her 8th start in a race, and, she's won 2 Group 1s now, and it's a great record.
Cox Plate. How was she this morning, and how much improvement, if any, is there left in it?
Oh, look, she was spot on for yesterday, and, she's tight as a drum, really. But, look, we're not going to jump, do any sort of plans that we're going directly to the Cox Plate just yet. We'll just let the dust settle and see how she comes through the race in the next few days.
Abdallah 400 lighter for that. He didn't get it quite right. To have a chat to Glenn Boss about how to produce those a bit more polished than that, Brett. But obviously, with much excitement there. Mares first since 1976, Secret Admirer, and Mares 1, 2, 3 there. Pinker. Excellent. Didn't handle the ground, set Craig Williams between the 700 to 400. But Graham, as you walked to the outside here, no one had been out there most of the day.
Look, the first race, the filly Clary's come down the middle of the track, it ran third and sort of made up ground quite quickly. So, look, we thought the track was pretty uniform. I think with the other races, there were smaller fields and it was pretty on pace, Looked like it was going to be dominated by the on paces. But I said to Bretton, don't change anything, just ride the way you're going to ride her. And, look, definitely, Mark. Look, we've got the options there. She can, go the Cox Plate route, or she can wait for the Maya Classic and back up into the Emirates on the last day. So, we'll let her tell us. But, we look at her tell us. But, we look at the form of Lotteria going back a few years ago, and there was a lot of similarities. And she ran second to Maccabi Diva and in the Cox Plate. So she had a very similar form line, going back from their 3-year-old days, flight stakes, and running the same lead-up races and into the Epsom and down into the Cox Plate. So, we sort of used that as a bit as a benchmark, and we thought that probably was a lot between them.
Greg done a great job. He's very confident going in. Her work at home was great, and she did everything right, and was just no match for the winner today.
Onward and upward.
Yeah, for sure. I would say running second in the Group 1.
Yeah, she raced very well. Went forward from a gate, and with no weight on her back, she posied up nice. And mid-race, we went a pretty steady clip, and she dashed really well.
It was an outstanding run by the horse. He's a big boy, and
he ran great, ran out of his skin today.
Draw for him. But once he had crossed onto the course properly, he never really handled the going underneath him. He sort of laboured the whole way, and I was still happy with his run. Like, he kept finding the line, so he's still heading to Melbourne at this stage.
I think all of us left Sincere out. Barrier 1 was always going to be an awkward spot for him. I think he's a better horse when he's outside horses. And the Randwick track, I just want to say one email we got from...
Also, it includes the performance yesterday of Jimmy Shue. We'll discuss it shortly. I'm going to get away with him. $5 shortening up after beating, what's it called, Red Ruler. Helmets there at 750 line table. Where are we here? Secret Admirer, Graham. Big punter you are. $16. Happy to look at that. $16. Happy to look at that.
Yeah, the 61s was all right about 2 months ago, so 16s look pretty good.
Sound like Rick Lacey.
Stumps there, but she's a nice filly.
Just really all silent up there at Newcastle. That on the Wednesday race, when the gap came, I thought he was really going to explode. I thought it was going to be the old all silent.
Yeah, definitely. He sort of made a bit of a dash at them and just sort of last bit just whacked away. Unfortunately, he's been sick ever since he's run at Newcastle. And he's been on treatment for the last 2 weeks, and we're not sure if he's going to race again. It's disappointing, but
it is. It's been a great horse.
Yeah, he's had pneumonia, so we'll just see what happens.
What about the filly in the first?
Today, and it's been a while since we've seen a mare successful in the race. So
Yeah.
Nearly 40 years.
35 years it's been, but still they haven't had a great presence in the race. Yesterday they were fairly dominant in the market, and it's certainly come through at the end there with the trifecta. Gee, she's got acceleration, this mare, hasn't she? She bounced up on a back up there yesterday. Loved the sting out of the ground, and we did see the best of her. She'll go to Melbourne now, and she'll contest I'd suggest she contest the Cox Plate. And with that turn of speed, who's to say that she won't be competitive in a race like that, Richard?
Yes, every chance that she could be. Mares trifected the race yesterday, so that the whole Mares Hoodoo got broken in a big way. I couldn't believe it. Coming up the rise, I thought she was just too far off them. I thought, well, you'll run on, but gee, you've given away a huge start there. She travelled 3 deep most of the way, but got cover all the way. Just was able to sit out wide with cover, and that makes a huge difference. Brenton ran a very, very good race on her. In hindsight, I mean, at the time I thought, oh, Brenton, you're too far back on this mare, but in hindsight, he could do as well.
Yeah, look, Pink Pinker was pretty good there. She was beautifully ridden by Williams, held up a little at the straight where the winner got the momentum and the fly, but that was hardly an excuse. She's probably just looking for a little bit further now. Red Trace has run the race of her life. Of the others, look, there's a few that Willie Jimmy, he covered ground the whole way in the blue and red with the white hat there. Look, the Emirates Mile for him, I reckon he's a blowout down in the weights on the limit. That he's a horse that could run well. This guy Walter, he's a master, as we saw yesterday again, at presenting a horse right in the day. And I'd suggest that's his target, the Emirates Mile in Melbourne, and he'll perform very, very well there, Willie Jimmy, at you, Judge. You watch.
Brenton Abdallah.
We have to press on. He had him on once, and he won a big Group 1.
There's your Cox Plate market there. Now, I watched Jimmy Shue yesterday. He didn't beat much. In fact, he beat an awful field, but he was awesome. Helmet, yes, he's going every bit well enough to be considered. Rekindle Interest, I'm not sure, is a Cox Plate horse, but going, the format of that race says he is. Lion Tamer, we know how good he is. My Kingdom of Fife, what do you think, Ronnie?
Yeah, look, we'll get to him shortly.
Is the Coolmore Flight Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies, bringing in a few different form lines. Of course, a lot of these fillies coming through the Furious and the Flight Stakes, but where the favourite Streamer has been the winner of those 2 races. But Halliwell Bell up from Melbourne, some money for her, Richie.
It certainly is, Caroline. Very lot of betting. Back into $4.80, back to $5. Rock solid. Streamer. Now, it was $3.20 into 3. Then it got all the way back out to $3.30. So that'll be your best fluctuation. Now back into $3.10 and a clear favourite. Halliwell Belt, $3.40, $3.30, $3.40.
New South Wales at $3.20. Now they move up.
Ready to jump their away quickly. And Florentina jumped out well, so did Halliwell Bell, Tight Tess and Choice Words, followed by Shadow West down to the inside and Pain in the Glass. Bowman's let them go on Streamer. He's got back to midfield, 3 wide early from Roma Giaconda, Ice Baby and Dowager Queen last. So there's a bit of speed on up front here. Tight Tess taking the lead. And on the side of the track, 900 to go. Choice Words on the outside, put its head in front, led narrowly from Tight Tess. Halliwell Bell still sitting out wide without any cover. Then Shadow West, Pain in the Glass, 5th on the rail. Streamer edging up a little bit closer. Then in the middle, Florentina, followed by Dowager Queen Ice Baby. And last is Roma Giaconda. At the 600 and Tight Tess and Choice Words led from Halliwell Bell, and on the inside, Shadow West Streamer next, Paint in the Glass over on the rail, and Dowager Queen heads the others coming into the straight, and Tight Tess sprinted away, beat off Choice Words, and then Halliwell Bell. Streamer comes to the outside, Paint in the Glass is giving them a bit of a start. Here comes Streamer, she's starting to launch down the centre of the track. She raced up, hit the lead, pay to them in one stride. This is a great filly. She's starting to open up now, Streamer. Look at her go. She's 4, 5, 6 lengths in front. She's making an absolute mess of them. Streamer by 6. Halliwell Bell second. Dowager Queen third. And then we've got Shadow West, followed by Roma Giaconda. Then Pain in the Glass, followed further back by Tight Tess. And then at the head of the others, Ice Baby, followed by Choice Words, and last in was Florentina.
What a great day for Guy Walter, this filly. Well, she is the top of her generation. She's proven that, matched the Melbourne filly, Halliwell Bell, and beaten her and beaten all the other fillies, even with a pace more on there today than in the Furious and the T-Rose. She has just stamped her dominance. Even time to look around there for Hugh Bowman.
You know, she can sit on the speed. She can come from back. Doesn't matter if it's wet or dry. She's a top filly.
When she went to the paddock after the Keith Mackay, you sent her out on a good note and she's come back and rewarded.
Yeah, and she's going to go out again now. You know, she's had 4 quick runs in succession, and I've fallen into that trap before, you know, going to Melbourne, a young filly, and we'll bring her back for the autumn. She'll be even better.
You're still living like
Group 1. 150. Jungle Rule is 480 out to 5.
We've got Shadow West.
Well, the speed maps were turned upside down, but not the result. Outstanding performance to get through the Furious T-Rose and complete it with the Flight Stakes. Punters knew it would happen too. 330 into 280. Maxi Div is the $3.30. Comprehensive victory. Halliwell Bell, excellent. Proves 1,000 years credit form for mine stacks up because Dowager Queen's come from here last to run that second. And
I think it's time for a bit of a break. Beautiful time to go out and bring her back for the autumn.
Guy, yeah, she's been dominant leading and sitting and sprinting, but did you ever envisage that she'd do that?
Mark, I didn't think that she could win that easily, and the 2 wins in the Furious and the T-Race, she drew a good gate. She sat on a slow speed, up on the pace. Yesterday, track was a little rain affected, drew wide. I didn't think for a moment she could win in a canter like she did.
I've seen a lot of Flight Stakes, and I don't think I've seen a more dominant Flight Stakes win. You go back to horses like Sunline and horses like that. I don't think I've seen a filly win a race like that so dominantly.
Filly's owner, she won't be coming here for the 1,000 guineas, but it's going to be a ripper 1,000 guineas for Atlantic Jewel. The hottest of favourites. I think yesterday's race gator sticks up that form around the 3-year-old fillies that we'll see in the Edward Manifold Stakes, and also enhances Atlantic Jewel's. In Melbourne.
Yeah, well spotted. Look, Halliwell Bell went terrific, wide, no cover, and she beat everything else. Part of the winner. A couple of other really good runs. Obviously, Roma Giaconda. She's racing like she'll run an Oak Strip. She was took 100 metres to wind up with a strong late.
Queen's Run was the next best. I thought outside the winner. I thought Dowager Queen's Run was the next best.
I think she's an Oaks filly for sure. Dowager Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Her run at Rosehill was fantastic as well off a slow speed. She hit the line well yesterday. I think the 2,500 of the Oaks in Melbourne would suit her right down to the ground.
Yeah, there might be some solace there for Maxie Whitby and the team with Scarlet Lady going all right. Stay with
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I don't think we're giving her the credit she deserves, and the trainer as well. He's a master, that guy Walter, at just peaking a horse on the right day. They just build, and then they're on their grand final and they just peak. He's a freak, and that's an outstanding filly. She can be ridden forward, she can be ridden back. She handles it dry, she handles it wet. She's continued.
Slow pace,
yeah,
fast pace.
That's right.
Doesn't matter.
Ticks every single box. Have a look at her. A deserved Triple Crown winner there. Halliwell Bell, well, she's becoming a bit of a bridesmaid. That's her 7th second now. But
was a bit unlucky too. Did travel 3
should have finished
without
closer.
cover.
Should have finished closer, but you could hardly make an excuse for her. The third filly looks an Oaks type, doesn't she? This Dowager Queen, although she might be a mudlark at the same time, but give her if she gets to Melbourne and finds herself in the Wakeful and the Oaks and you get wet tracks around the spring, she's in contention. Although she's beaten a long way there, she looks like a stayer, along with David Hayes' horse that made up good ground there. Roma Giaconda, have a look at her back last, on the wrong leg. The 2 widest horses there, they look the stayers leading into a Melbourne spring. not the 1,000 Guineas types, but more the Wakeful Oaks types.
Master Stroke of David's taking that filly up there. She's got black type for running in that 5-horse race behind Manawanui. So, you know.
Backs it up with a pretty good run here.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a filly with talent. I agree with everything you say. It raises a couple of questions.
Say what's happening here on track. There's been an absolute bit of money for so many different horses here on track. And then Crafty Earner, as soon as the price went up.
To Hawk Island by
2 runners, back to the exclusion of all others, according to Jerry Walsh at Sporting Bet. 1 and 8. 1 and 8, the punters are really loaded up. But number 1, just sportingbet.com.au, market mover. Number 1, Trusting. Heavily backed. They won the first race, this combination.
Stein coming up now is Bellagio Win, Trusting loaded away with Crafty Earner. So they're moving in very quickly, only about half a dozen to come. And they're off in the Metropolitan. And Illustrious Blue and Splendid Honours went straight back. Coming out well was Tullamore with Einstein. Red Eye Special, Trusting driving forward, and so too is Crafty Earner, about 5 across the track early. But Marrera looking for the front on Trusting. He drives the top weight to the front early and led from Tullamore. And then on the outside, Red Eye Special, last year's winner Herculean Prince, going out of the straight a little bit wide. And then the Verminator, Crafty Earner about 6, followed by Einstein. Lamasery next in centre field. Hawk Island, 1100 metre mark. And it's Herculean Prince in front by a length and a quarter. The Verminator is second, Trusting in the box seat. A length on the outside, Red Eye Special from Tullamore. Hawk Island still wide, Crafty Earner the centre. Then Einstein, followed by Lodge the D's. Lamasery is in the next spot, followed by Presido. Home and a wing going forward around Spachenka. Stand again, starting to roll forward about 4 and 5 wide. Bellagio Win, Illustrious Blue. At last is Splendid Honours. At the 600, and it's Herculean Prince, the leader. The Verminator looming up on the outside. Trusting just got onto heels there. He seemed to get a slight check. Oh, there's one down. One's lost the rider at the back of the field. It's Bellagio Win, I think, has lost the rider. Coming to the turn. And the Verminator went up to hit the front here from Herculean Prince. Hawk Island on the outside of Red Eye Special. Then Trusting looking to get into the clear. Lamasery trying to weave through down to the inside, and then Einstein. The Verminator shot away at the 200. Is out in front by a couple of lengths. Lamasery one off the fences running on. But it's the Verminator going well with about 150 to go. He's about 2.5 lengths in front. It's all the Verminator. And the Verminator's going to win the Metrop. The Verminator comes down to win it. Lamasery or Hawk Island for second and third. Then Einstein, followed by Red Eye Special, and then Trusting. At the head of the others next, Lodge the Deeds, followed by Tullamore. And then came Herculean Prince, Presido, Spachenka. Craft has fallen at about the 650. Jockey's up on his feet, so he's okay. And that is
Again, we just spoke before the race. He just needs that little sting out of the track. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a great ride to use them up early. Got into a good spot, and yeah, Hawk Island, he was out 3 wide with no cover, and I think that was the difference of the winner and the second horse. They both ran terrific. The others all looked like
Well, you got a Group 1.
that's a bonus, but bringing the horses back safely is what we're here for.
Go and have a go. Thanks. There he is.
It's interesting, that horse was the only one really in the race that showed a really good turn of foot. There were some nice staying performances at the end. They just stuck on, but this horse really showed turn of foot.
He did, didn't he?
By Red Eye Special, and then Trusting.
Well, a comprehensive victory, wasn't it, for the Verminator? Brilliant ride by Froggy News. It missed, was being hung up on planes. Terrific ride from the outside gate. Waller had 1-2 here, and sadly lost Bellagio Win. Lamasery okay, got the Wyland Cup winner of the Dreams of Life for both 1-2 there, heading towards the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup. Trusting was the big go here. Rich Force in the threes, but pulled too hard.
Yeah, it was always going to be probably the worry, but geez, the big punters really stepped into Trusting. He was a huge go from 3-1 into 2-1. But look, the Verminator, all he needs is, he doesn't need a real wet track, just needs a little sting out of the track. And the track at Newcastle, he half just jarred up on the track. He was dominant yesterday. He beat them. I thought the second horse, Hawk Island, was outstanding. Hawk Island will go straight into the Caulfield Cup. He's in there. The Verminator, if he gets a run, he'll run. Otherwise, perhaps maybe the McKinnon and then into the Melbourne Cup. What else out of the race?
Surprises that'll happen over the next 24 hours. You would think, but here's the Melbourne Cup. December draw. The key runner at Flemington on the Sunday meeting. But what's changed there? Not much, I don't think.
No, well, no, we'll get a better picture after today, won't we, Bruce? With a few of those key runners running.
Turnbull, favourite for the Caulfield Cup, and could be tightening up even further if you can put a Turnbull stakes to his credit here. Not many changes there either for last time, only the key runners.
Yeah, the Hawk Island can only win this Caulfield Cup.
Look, this is a funny race. All honest to the winner, it was the only good ride in the race. It was a farcical speed. They've come home the last 600 quicker than any of the four Group 1s, which is bizarre in a 2,400 metre race. There was so much interference, mainly caused through the tempo of the race and horses over racing and getting on heels. There was carnage mid-race there coming to the turn, and this horse just kept out of trouble, popped up outside the lead, and like I say, the only good ride in the race. Hawk Island was 3 and 4 wide, no cover the whole way, and he battled on well to run second. You could say he was unlucky with that torrid run he had in transit. At least he kept out of trouble. Lamestry found trouble, Tullamore found trouble, Einstein found trouble.
Yeah, when you saw him cantering across, it shouldn't be quarantined from scrutiny.
Okay,
That's all.
do you think it's a Group 2 race?
At best at the moment.
You're kidding.
At best.
On trusting Ronnie, do we forgive him on his performance yesterday? He did want to over-race, which he often tends to do. Is he just about nearing the end of his tether?
Oh, look, he's only 3rd or 4th up there yesterday. I'd suggest he's better with clear running. He's a stallion, and in the middle of a tight little group there, he got a bit keen.
He's got keen at his
The fence. Entrapment hits the lead. We haven't seen him for a year and a half. Entrapment in front from California Choice. Sacred Kingdom's running on, but Entrapment clear. Oh, Sacred Kingdom is coming with a real charge. Entrapment, though, what a training performance by John Sayers. What a superstar. Entrapment back. He beats Sacred Kingdom.
Remarkable horse, Entrapment's winning the Hong Kong Sprint Trophy.
Unbelievable. He's a freak size. I'm sick of rapping all these trainers this morning. Everyone's a freak or a genius, but John Size, to get that horse back after a year and a half off, he'd won 7 straight before that yesterday. Resumes, makes it 8 from 8 in Hong Kong. He's a you wouldn't think he was an Australian bred, but he's by Halo Homewrecker, who's, he's got nothing in his pedigree likeable at all. He's just a freak of nature, the horse. He's like a Vo Rogue. He's just a freak horse that with no pedigree, who's just jumped out internationally in Hong Kong there and has got everyone talking.
Sacred Kingdom ran well.
He did. He's not getting any younger, Sacred Kingdom, and he's the benchmark over there. You can't knock that performance, but geez.
We see quite a lot of these horses.
Last minute track conditions at Flemington today. So, but if they're getting rain and the track's slow to heavy, that's a little bit of a concern, because I don't think he's ever raced on a wet track, and that's always a little bit dangerous when you're taking short prices like that. Southern Speed was excellent last time. If she runs up to that performance.
And that news was that High Delicious is a late scratching here. High Delicious, a late scratching from the Blazer. So it is out. Moraine, of course, number 29, that first sight at the moment, number 42, needs to qualify through the Herbert Power next week and beyond. So, yeah, the key runners at this stage for...
It took a while, but 340 crashed into 320 late. Parables, the one on screen, is out.
When you catch yeah, playing that 9 back to 8 and Zabaya.
Been racing at the 1400. Goon Serpent a little slow, and Sophie Spirit and Zubaya are the first 2 to bounce out. I'm Discreet got away well, and she's right up there on the speed, but it's Sophie Spirit who leads. I'm Discreet in second placing, 1.5 Zubaya. Lady Lynette moving up deeper on the course has gone up into 4th placing. Charlie's Queen is 5th, and then Dysphonia on the inside, followed by Anne Lee. Next a length away, Parables 3 deep outside Booklet, and 4 metres to go, and they're making their way to the turn. Sophie Spirit, the leader. I'm Discreet is running second the outside, and Zubaya tucked in behind them. Lady Lynette's had a pretty good run from an outside barrier. She's poised 4th the outside, and then Charlie's Queen, Anne Lee, followed by Dysphonia, and then came Booklet between runners, and next in the field is Parables pulling to the outside. Sophie Spirit leads from I'm Discreet. Now Lady Lynette called on, followed by Zubaya. Dysphonia. Parables is coming down the outside, but she's got a fair bit of ground to make up. Coming to the 200 metres, I'm Discreet from Lady Lynette. Sophie Spirit is still there on the inside. Parables is working home, and then So Pristine. 100 metres to go, and Lady Lynette has taken over the running from I'm Discreet. Lady Lynette drawing away, and she's too good. Lady Lynette went to first at Flemington. Booklet charges through to get second. Close for third, maybe Dysphonia from Parables. Sophie Spirit close up from I'm Discreet down on the inside. Back behind those then, Smolder through along the rails, and then Moment in Time keep the piece out very wide on the course. Next in was Zubaya, So Pristine, Anne Lee and Goon Serpent. And then came some Liberty and Charlie's Queen back at the end.
Oh, what a great mare she is and has been and continues to be. And there's the stock stakes form in front of you again. You've got the big price because of the 15 alley, and you want to send something to Nick Orr because you've got to out the gates, cross outside the leader in a moderately run race and control.
Dad sort of changed a few things around with her at home, and she's had a big campaign. She's been fantastic. So Mum put her notice in at work last year. Dad was going to retire her, but we had to bring her back. So
fantastic for the Tats Cox Plate. Edward Manifold Stakes starts a massive quarter here at Flemington this afternoon. Guaranteed pool of 2 million, which tells you you'll sail well past that, even at 12 o'clock on a Sunday. Massive pool here. Celebrity Girl, Blue Street Machine, the big three from the 1,000 guineas prelude.
Celebrity Girl.
Okay, this day.
Nice, few nice staying types in the field that you can see are going to be suited to the Oaks trip.
No doubt. Runners moving up here. There's your last look at the totes. 250 tote, 250 bookies is your favourite. Number 5, Slim.
1,600 metres. Had a pretty good sort of a start too. And Celebrity Girl jumps well, so does Geo. And also Reveal is showing some speed near the inside. And Rocker's up there. Taylor's Command is coming over and showing some dash. And might run to the front with Celebrity Girl. So it is Taylor's Command, a length Celebrity Girl and Machine now going up into second placing. They're being followed then by Geo, trapped a little bit wide. And hadn't made at the end. 1,000 metres to go. Taylor's Command by 3/4. Machine is second. And then Bliss Street has got through on the rails into third. And Celebrity Girl looks beautifully positioned fourth on the outside. A length further back is Geo and the black colours posted wide. And Rock the middle, Reveal the rail, and then came Gliding. A length Metonymy, Florence buried back on the inside, and then O'Reilly. And Manhattan made at the end as they go to the 600. Taylor's Command on the swing for home, being joined now by Machine and Celebrity Girl poised for a run. They're being followed by Bliss Street just in behind Machine when they cornered. Further back, Reveal coming through on the inside, and O'Reilly's pulled out the widest on the outside of Gliding. It's Machine travelling strongly towards the 250 metre mark, out by 2 lengths. Celebrity Girl right had to go for the whip, not making ground at the moment. Reveal boxing on, so is Bliss Street, but Machine with the blinkers back on, going great guns, 2 or 3 in front. She's got them beaten, Machine. She'll come away and the blinkers have turned her on again. Machine scored by 2.5 lengths to Bliss Street. Celebrity Girl 3/4 third. Reveal ran fourth, and then came Gliding. Behind them, Metonymy, O'Reilly, Manhattan made out wider, followed by Androck, Geo, Florence second last, and the front running Taylor's Command last home.
Well, Danny Nicholic got this totally right, didn't he? Recommending the blinkers go on. Machine able to posse up and quicken away from the usual suspects here. Bliss Street and the Celebrity Girl. No excuses behind. Best filly through the line there, wasn't she?
She was strong, and I thought she was a little bit keen in the blinkers in the early part of the race, so that was a bit of a worry. And
to Moran, the first of the market movers home, which is 9 into 6.
But
that's the new track. So yeah, it's but they like to come down the middle, and obviously a lot of these horses are got plenty of experience behind them and had plenty of stuff.
The jockeys calling out, they're not quite ready to tether away in racing. Beretta Miss a little slow, got a bump at the start. Katana and Shrapnel got away well. And First Command jumped well. Temple of Boom and Soul in the middle of the line began fast. Randill's got away well. Elusive touches just off them in the early part of the race as they settle down. And Dan's Item is going quickly from his outside barrier. And Chasm has come across with him. So as they settle fully, and Shrapnel near the inside. Katana with the white cheekers. And Grandill's orange blinkers are the 3 sharing the front. And Dan's Item had gone up. And he's not far away, a bit wider out on the course. Being followed just in behind them, First Command having a nice run. Orbit Express is down to the inside with Decision Time, and First Command is just behind the leading bunch of horses. Then Elusive Touch, Solders in the middle. King Hoax is under the whip. Chasm under pressure, wider in response with the red cap was deeper as they came to the 300 metre mark now. Kurtana headed by First Command, Shrapnel and then Grandulls, and further back Verena Miss, who's starting to work home fairly well in response. The widest runner, Kurtana, the leader from First Command with 100 metres to go. Here's Temple of Boom, booming up the middle of the course. Doesn't he love it here? Sweeps to the front. Temple of Boom came away and he won it from Sistine Angel, coming hard down the outside to grab second from Response. And Kurt Turner, who dashed to the front of the 100, got mown down to the inside. Perenimus boxed on next. Largo Lad hit the line well. Shrapnel first command decision time. Followed by Rathera Soul, Chasm, Danzalem, Orbit Express. King Hoax towards the end. Followed by Elusive Touch. And Grandule's one of the last in.
Well, he's only been beat once up the Flemington straight. Fair bit more beckons. Perhaps a clash with Black Caviar coming up for Temple of Boom. Why not? Someone's going to be there. And busy race to watch, looking at Katana and First Command having their duel down the inside. Whoosh to the outside. Here they come swamping late. And Temple of Boom. Sister Angel's gone fantastic first up. Mark Erdown is one to follow. Response very good. Largo Lad, excellent. But this very good straight track performer does it again.
Yeah, and he's got had a good odds.
John Sadler. We left them with them, went down to Ballarat. They set up down there for 10 days.
The last minute track conditions at Flemington today. So, but if they're getting rain and the track's slow to heavy, that's a little bit of a concern because of
Since you want to do something now.
Well, December draw. The market's got this absolutely bottom off a naturalism stakes win and gets no spoil at the weights. Yes, it's a step up in class, but the punters think this march towards the spring riches will continue.
What a progression this will be if Cap keeps pulling this off. We saw naturalism and now goes to Group 1. I think he can do it. And if he does, he's so more to him since we saw him here in May. I think Precedence and Linton are ready to stand up today. No idea, no interest. Linton 6 out to 8. You'll see why those are all going out in a minute. Shamrock is 21. Glass Harmonium 750 to 850. Now he's one that has been back to beat him. He's come back into 750. 225, was that short enough? Into 220, is that short enough? No, 215. Just continues to firm.
In the spring, I suppose, to some extent, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yesterday didn't beat much, but it just shows you that these horses are just ticking over nicely as they head towards their big target. This is a Group 1. It's not grand.
Ready to go for the Turnbull Stakes. Starter Hanson hits the button and they're off and racing. And Linton was first out and December Draw got away very quickly. And he's up there as well. And Glass Harmonium now kicks through after a slightly slow beginning. And he rolls to the lead. So it is Glass Harmonium settling a length and a half. December Draw, Linton playing God as fourth. And settling fifth, the outside, caught a little wide there is Extra Zero. 2 lengths further back, Southern Speed, midfield down on the inside, being followed closely by Absolutely. Out of the field working, he gets to second now. Linton's in on the rail in fourth placing, loving the fast tempo. 3/4 away then Playing God. A length and a half Absolutely covering up Southern Speed. 2 lengths further back, Shamrock on the inside of Raffaello. A further 2 lengths away, Precedence. 2.5 lengths to Rekindled Interest. And Deficient on the rail last of all. Down the side, Glass Harmonium. 900 left to go, a length in front. Extra Zero second, a length to Linton. 3/4 now, December Draw. Fourth on the outside, Poised. 1.5 Southern Speed. Fifth on the inside of Playing God. Then Absolutely Shamrock on the rail from Raffaello Precedence. And 2 lengths away, Efficient on the inside and Rekindled Interest. 600 left to go. They're on the swing in the Turnbull. And Glass Harmonium has the lead, about a length in front of Extra Zero second. Linton, plenty of room to come through the inside as they drift towards the middle of the course. December Draw starting to work home and Playing God's on his back. Further back is Southern Speed and Absolutely coming down the outside. Still Glass Harmonium, 300 to go. December Draw given full ball to go and chase him. Playing God running on. Linton can't get there. And back behind them, Absolutely. It's Glass Harmonium tackled by December Draw. 100 left to go. They'll fight it out. December Draw trying to get the Glass Harmonium. He kicks, but December Draw going home a little bit the better and won it by a half a head. It's December Draw just from Glass Harmonium. 2 lengths. Playing God might get the third from Southern Speed. Shamrocker and Absolutely finished together next. Being followed further back then, Efficient, who worked home from Raffaello, Rekindled Interest, Precedence, Linton didn't go on, and Extra Zero last home.
Well, great win. Narrow, but Glass Harmonium's a top quality performer. December Draws gunned him down and en route to the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup now. It was an on-pace dominated race here and December Draw lifts to land massive bets. Top maxi div here, 240. Glass Harmonium, Brave. Playing God every possible. But December Draw onwards to the Cups and a big story here for Cavan, the connections.
Well, it wasn't the
top quality performer and he's done it.
Yeah, that's right. He drops back to a handicap next start, and I suppose if we can run 2,400, he's going to be all right.
Let's start throwing these questions at us. He'll run 2,400, surely.
Well, let's hope so. He gives us every indication of that. Look, off a fast clip today, he sort of, was a set and shot, really, I thought. They went pretty strong. Yeah, exactly. I mean, certainly pretty excited.
You show it so well. As a stone?
Well, I think we saw a fair bit of it today. I mean, he's gone from a 72 rater in May to a Group 1. That's pretty good.
Some lucky owners here. We'll have a chat to them too. Good on you, Cav. Gary Towsell and Richard Pegan. From
horses have emerged. They're two new kids on the block as far as spring carnivals go. December Draw and Glass Harmonium, but they couldn't have been more impressive today. They were both fabulous. There's your
In the third.
It seems an eternity ago, doesn't it? But it was only last Sunday the Group 1 Turnbull Stakes took centre stage at Flemington, and December Draw did it again.
I'm his biggest fan, and it's the first time I've been a little worried about him. He just got a little aggressive for my liking coming into a Caulfield Cup in this race. Maybe Michael may have given him a bit of a dig out there, and he may have over-raced a little, but did he surge like a Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup type of horse the last 50 metres there? Look, I don't want to be critical of him because I say he's got a sense of timing about him. He's a great, a horse that hasn't made a mistake yet. But just a little chink, racing a little bit too aggressive for my liking in this race. But that's just trying to find a negative with him.
I tell you, if you rave about his performance here, and it's worthy of praise, no doubt about that, you've got to rave about Glass Harmoniums because he's only been beaten by a lip, and he's made all in front, and he was kicking back on the line. So I think there's a horse that's been a little underestimated simply because he didn't win. He ran second. If he'd have won that race, there'd be much greater hype around him.
The old boy went terrific there, efficient. He really starting to get into his work really nicely there, late.
Absolutely has been ticking away just okay for Mick Kent. She's sort of finishing off. Radra Willow has
the Cox Plate mark a little early, and Glass Harmonium and Rekindled Interest. I reckon Rekindled Interest might have been ahead of Glass Harmonium in the moment. If that's the case, well, I think they should be about 10 points difference. That's from what I saw in the Turnbull. I'm with, again, Richard. Glass Harmonium is a very good horse, and I would not underestimate him having the ability to be very, very competitive in the top.
Can't believe you, son. What are you doing? You've gone with him twice, Ron. What's going on?
What's going on?
You blokes are finally learning.
Did you bring one of your mates on the show?
That there are sensible people out there.
Oh, please.
It's not, not restricted to the morons that I have to deal with here.
I'm thinking of. Have we found? I'm thinking of. Have we found out about this Lucas Cranas? Is he running in the Caulfield Cup?
You still don't know.